right, video number 3. I want to talk today about where to begin with emergency preparedness. A lot of times people get overwhelmed when they start with emergency preparedness because it can be a lot. And if you Google or YouTube or search anywhere emergency preparedness, you are going to get a lot of information. And some of it's going to make sense, some of it's not going to make sense, some of it is going to counter another account and everything like that. But what I want to do today is just explain where I would start as a beginner with emergency preparedness. Hopefully it won't feel like you're trying to drink out of a fire hose. Hopefully I'm just going to break it down into small chunks. The first thing that I would do is I would start with the food storage. A lot of people are going to kind of counter that with, no, you should be starting with a 72-hour kit. 72-hour kits are great. I think they're wonderful things, but they are exactly that. They are only 72 hours. It's only going to give you, if they're properly done, 3 days worth of everything you need. I want you to think about all of the times that you would need a 72-hour kit, okay? This was going to look like evacuation. This will look like natural disasters. And really, that's about it. That's really the only time you would have to use a 72-hour kit. So there's so many more reasons that you would want a food storage over a 72-hour kit. 72-hour kits are important. I don't want it to sound like they're not important, because they are. But to me, especially right now where we are in the world, food storage is so much more important, because food storage is going to get you through natural disasters. Food storage is going to get you through job loss. Food storage is going to get you through supply chain issues. Food storage is going to get you through a lot more scenarios than a 72-hour kit will, okay? So if I was starting prepping today, I would start building up my food storage. I will probably do a billion videos on food storage. It's so incredibly important, and there's so many tricks to it and hacks and so many things that go with food storage. For right now, I'm just going to kind of give you a couple of things to help you with your food storage. Food storage, a lot of times I feel like people think of food storage as, all right, I need to have 5-gallon buckets of hard wheat and beans and rice and all of these. No, please, unless you know how to use those and what to do with those, do not just stock up on that. Please, for the love, don't do that. Your food storage should look like everything you have right now. It should look like the food you eat on a regular basis. It should look like snacks and treats and everything like that. It does not have to look like buckets of rice, beans, and wheat. It can. It absolutely can, if that's what you want to do. But if that's not what you eat, then don't store it. Please don't. I heard it's like a fill in the blank thing when it comes to food storage that I was like, that is brilliant. That is a brilliant way of looking at food storage. And the fill in the blank is, if I want to eat blank, then I must store blank. So think of it as if you are, say job loss. We'll just go with job loss for now. If you or your spouse, significant other, whoever, loses their job and you don't have money saved up, or you're just trying to, obviously be smart about your spending, then you ask yourself, okay, if my significant other lost their job, then I would want to eat let's say spaghetti. That's a good one, okay? So if I want to eat spaghetti, then I need to store spaghetti noodles. I need to store marinara sauce. I need to store ground beef. And then that's it. So then I know, because my family likes spaghetti, that I want to have marinara sauce on hand. I want to have noodles on hand. I want to have ground beef on hand. And just think of it like that. And so think of food storage as, if I want to eat blank, which blank should be your family's favorite meals, then I need to store blank. And then just go from there and slowly build up your food storage with your family's favorite meals. Okay? Second thing that I would do as a new prepper. We're just gonna embrace the prepper name that it's taboo sometimes. Embrace it. You're a prepper, and you're gonna be glad you are. Just embrace it. But the second thing that I would do after I'm building up my food storage, and after I have at least a month's supply, obviously that's going to be dependent on storage, and I will do a video on that. I do have a lot of storage tips and everything on my Instagram channel, which is Prepared Like a Mother. That you can look on there for more storage things. I would shoot for, with food storage, at least having a month's supply. That's going to be dependent on space and everything. Once you have a month's supply, shoot for 3 months, then shoot for 6, then shoot for 9, then shoot for a year's supply until you feel comfortable with what you're doing. Okay? So, first thing I would do, food storage. Absolutely, 100,000% food storage. Okay? Second thing I would do is work on my 72-hour kits. Like I said, 72-hour kits, they will be a game changer and a life changer if you ever have to use them. Problem is, I talk too much and my throat got dry. And I don't know how to edit this, so this is just raw. Me stumbling, me doing whatever. I apologize. One day these videos will get better. Just embrace the content and ignore the bad quality video. 72-hour kits. They will be game changer, life changing if you ever have to use them. That being said, the situations in which you'll have to use your 72-hour kits are very, very slim. Okay? Think about where you live and the situations that you may need to use your 72-hour kits. For me, I live in Utah. We are one of the most boring weather states ever. Okay? We very rarely get any kind of severe weather. But we are overdue for a very large earthquake. So for me, I know that I'm going to need a 72-hour kit for this 100-year earthquake that we're way overdue on. Other than that, I truly don't see a situation where I would need to use my 72-hour kit. My chances of evacuation are very, very, very small. We don't have very much severe weather. There's just very small chances that I'd have to use my 72-hour kit. That being said, I have a 72-hour kit for me and each member of my family, because in the event of an earthquake or in the event that we have to use that, I'm going to be glad that I have that. 72-hour kits should be everything that you and your family need to survive for 3 days. It's going to give you 3 days of clothes. It's going to give you 3 days of water. It's going to give you 3 days of food. It's going to give you 3 days of medications. It's going to give you 3 days of light and power, like a power source, like a small battery pack or whatever. Again, I actually have to redo my 72-hour kits. I do them every 6 months. You don't have to. If you know yourself better than that, then do them every year. I don't suggest going longer than a year, but you know yourself better. Do what you have to do, especially if you have young kids. Every 6 months to a year is great. When I do my 72-hour kits, I will for sure video it and go through everything. But everything that you need for 72 hours needs to go in that backpack. 72-hour kits can also get incredibly overwhelming because you're trying to fit 3 days worth of stuff in a backpack. It's hard. You're going to have to make sacrifices, and I'll kind of explain that when I go through my 72-hour stuff. Okay? But it's not what this video is about. This video is just about where to start. So, talked about food storage, talked about 72-hour kits. Those are the first two things that I would do. The third thing that I would do is a water storage. Water is the bane of my existence. I hate it because it is so vital. You need it for everything. But it's a pain in the butt to store. It's really hard to store. It's big, it's bulky, it's heavy. It needs to be rotated through a lot. Water storage is hard, and I know that. I do have a few tips and tricks. I will do videos on all of these individually. But for now, basically what I would do with food storage, FEMA, American Red Cross, most government agencies suggest you have a gallon of water per person per day. That is very, very, very bare minimum. You are going to need significantly more than that. I can promise you. You are going to need a lot more than a gallon of water per person per day. You're supposed to drink a gallon of water per person. Or like adults, not per person. Rewind. I don't know how to edit this. I told you that. But adults are supposed to drink close to a gallon of water a day. And if you're trying to tell me that I only need a gallon of water per person per day for cooking, cleaning, drinking, it's like, it's not going to work. You need more than that. So what I strive to do for my family is I strive to have a case of water per person. I buy ours at Costco, and I think it's like 4 gallons in a case of water. So I try to have a case of water per person in my house. That includes my dog. He's a very large dog. So he's going to need a lot of water. Okay? So I try to have a case of water per person per day. Just the cheap plastic water bottles. We do rotate through those on a regular basis. My kids take them to school. We use them during the summer. We go camping. We rotate through those, and I just buy a case of water. It's cheap, super easy. The second thing I do is I buy a 5-gallon jug of water that I put water preserver in. I actually have some that I need to fill up downstairs, and I will do that maybe today, maybe tomorrow, depending on how I'm feeling about things and how long my toddler naps for. So I try to have sorry, I squirrel a lot. I try and have a case of water, a 5-gallon thing of water per person, bare minimum. That will give me about, if you're careful with it and everything, I would say about 5 days worth of water per person. That's obviously going to be dependent on a lot of different things. But that's what I strive to do. The fourth thing that I would do, food storage, 72-hour kits, water storage. The fourth thing that I would do is start stocking up on all the fun things. Oh, I think it's fun. I don't know if everybody else thinks it's fun. This is like your gadgets and gizmos, okay? This looks like a propane stove. This looks like a Mr. Buddy heater. This looks like a generator, or more like lanterns or things like that. They're things that will make your life easier, but you don't necessarily need it to survive. So, that is the fourth thing I would do, okay? The fifth thing that I would do is work on my long-term food storage. Long-term food storage, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. But long-term food storage has its purpose. I also feel like it's kind of useless at the same time. Okay, hear me out here. Long-term food storage that's your foods that are shelf stable for 5+ years. That's your freeze-dried foods, that's your buckets of wheat, rice, beans, dried goods. Those have a purpose. However, I tend to focus more on short-term food storage because if I have a year's supply of short-term food storage of food that we eat all the time, then that's eventually going to turn into long-term food storage because you're always going to be replacing what you're using. It's not just a buy it now and then it's done. It's like if I use 1 jar of marinara sauce, then I add a jar of marinara sauce or 2 to my grocery list. So short-term food storage, if you have enough of it, can turn into long-term food storage, and it's all stuff that you're going to eat. Whereas long-term food storage, chances are you're not going to eat it. Plain and simple. Okay? That being said, I wouldn't just ignore it. I just wouldn't focus on it until you have all your other things in place first. For me, I have just barely started. I've been prepping for over 10 years. I have just barely started on my long-term food storage. 1, because I have the space for it. 2, because I'm kind of to that point in my journey of prepping is long-term food storage. And really, my long-term food storage is just freeze-dried goods. It's the same things that I have in my short-term food storage. It's just freeze-dried. I'll do a video. Like I said, I'm going to do videos on each one of these, but it's just going to take some time. So, yeah, for under 20 minutes. So I'm proud of myself for that, because I tend to talk a lot. I hope that helps you kind of know where to start and where to begin and why. Hopefully I can get videos up of each one of those things soon. If you have any questions, any concerns, comment, go to Instagram, send me a DM, whatever you want. It's Prepared Like a Mother. And yeah, if you like this video, I would absolutely love it. I actually hate it when people say this on YouTube, but everybody says when I'm doing my research on YouTube channels and how to grow my YouTube channel is like, you have to say this. So I'm saying it because apparently it's really important to grow on YouTube and to reach more people. Is like, subscribe, and share. There, I said it. I'm sorry. I know it's really annoying when they say that. But truthfully, I just want to get this information out. I think it's super important. I think that right now there's so much uncertainty in the world that people need this information. And I think I know people get super overwhelmed with it. And I'm just here to try and make it super simple, make it seem doable and easy. So that's what I have today. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully these videos get better and better, because I'm sure it's hard to watch, but just bear with me. And that's it.